Welcome to the David Pakman Show. It is freezing in New York City. It's actually freezing in our studio. It was like around 50 degrees when I came in. So at least for the first segment of the show, Lewis, I'm all bundled up and ready to go. Let's talk about Utah and gay marriage. Yesterday, I told you about this guy, Treston Meacham, who was on this hunger strike trying to stop Utah gay marriages. We said very clearly that his hunger strike would have no effect. But in spite of that, as the Salt Lake City Tribune is reporting, gay marriages are temporarily stopped in Utah. The U.S. Supreme Court put same-sex marriages in Utah on hold, granting the state's request for a stay while it appeals a ruling that laws banning such marriages are unconstitutional. The court said the stay would be in place until the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver makes a decision about Utah's appeal. This application for a stay was filed with Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who referred it to the whole court, according to the order that was issued yesterday. And according to this, there will be no new same-sex marriage licenses granted. And now, Lewis, we have, obviously, the legal implications to wonder about for those who did get married during the period, very brief period, where there was full marriage equality in the state of Utah. The Utah Attorney General, Sean Reyes, said, "We don't know the answer yet as to marriages already performed. There is not clear legal precedent for this particular situation." This is a hiccup, Lewis. This is not going to change broadly the huge momentum that exists towards equality in the United States.
No, not at all. And it might not even stop. It might not even stop it in Utah. We'll have to wait and see.
We will. And what this really gets me back to is there are children starving and living in cars, and we're wasting time trying to prevent two dudes or two women from getting married, which, by the way, is a completely man-made, human-made institution in and of itself. We have this issue of well, we're changing the definition or something like that. We can't change the definition of what marriage is. People seem to forget marriage itself is an invented thing that we made up the definition for in the first place. There's nothing obvious about modern marriage in terms of a legal, financial, and social arrangement. Ultimately, even if you are changing the so-called definition, Lewis, what's the big deal?
Yeah, a lot of the naysayers, they like to call it natural marriage,
right?
And that's somehow their way of phrasing it.
Yeah, and then, by the way, when we look at 400 mammal species and see that they all seem to have homosexuality, what's more natural than a percentage of the population being sexually attracted to those of the same gender? I can't think of anything more natural.
Well, if you ask them, we're not animals.
Right, of course. We have souls, they don't. A lot of futurists, by the way, imagine that marriage as an institution will completely disappear as society continues to develop. There is much literature, much fiction based around the non-existence of marriage as a part of society in the future. That seems like it makes it even the more absurd to be fighting the minutiae